Vivari Sarkadurgati Vasmanaraho
Jagasa Enyagavam Attaram Gata
Jagasa Hayagavam Antaram Gata
Sanjata Kopaspurita Rudadaram
Sanjata Kopa Surita Runadharam
Sandasya Dabdir Dati Manta Bhajanam
Sandasya Dadibhi Dadimantha Bhajanam
Vidvam Risras Rudrista Asmanarao
Bhitva Sarur Dishrat Asmanaraho
Jagasa Enyagavam Antaram Gata
Jagasa Hayantaram Antaram Gata
Sanjata Kopaspurita Rudadaram
Sanjata Kopa Surita Runadaram
Sandasya Dabdir Dabdi Manta Bhajanam
Sandasya Dadibhi Dadimantha Bhajanam
Vidvami Risas Rudrisam Asmanarao
Vidva Sasura Prasid Asmanaraho
Jagasa Enyagavam Antaram Gata. Devotees,
Sanjata Kopa Surita Runadaram
Sanjata Kopa Spurina Tunadaram
Sandasya Dadibhi Dadimantha Bhajanam
Sandasya Dabdi Dabdi Manta Bhajanam
Bhitva Mrisa Surar Drishat Asmanaraho
Vidvam Risasur Drisat Asmanaraho
Jaghasa Hayagavam Antaram Gata
Jagasa Enyagavam Antaram Gata
Sanjata Kopa Spurita
Sanjata Kopa Spurita Runadaram Sandasya Dabdi Dabdi Manta Bhajanam Vidvam Risras Rudrisat Asmanaraho Jagasa Anyagavam Antaram Gata. Moses?
Sanjata Gopas Puri Taturandaram
Sanjata Gopas Purina Tunadaram
Sandasya Dabdi Dabdi Manta
Sandasya Dabdi Dabdi Manta Bhajanam
Vidvam Risasur Risasasmanaraho
Vidvam Risasur Asmanaraho
Jagasa Yagavam Antaragata
Jagasa Yagavan Antaram Gata Sanjata Kopa.
Sanjata Kopa.
In this way, Krishna being very angry.
Krishna being very angry.
Spurita Arunadaram.
Spurita Arunadaram.
Swollen reddish lips.
Reddish lips.
Sandasya.
Sandasya.
Capturing.
Capturing.
Dabhi. By his teeth.
By his teeth.
Dadimanta Bhajanam.
Dadimanta Bhajanam.
The pot in which yogurt was being churned.
The pot in which yogurt was being churned.
Vidva.
Vidva.
Breaking.
Breaking.
Risa Asu.
Risa Asu.
With false tears in his eyes.
With false tears in his eyes.
Risat Asmana.
Rishat Asmana.
With a piece of stone.
With a piece of stone.
Raha.
Raha.
In a solitary place.
In a solitary place.
Jagasa.
Jagasa.
Began to eat.
Began to eat.
Eyagavan.
Eyagavan.
The freshly churned butter.
The freshly churned butter.
Antaram.
Antaram.
Within the room.
Within the room.
Gata.
Gata.
Having gone.
Having gone.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Being very angry and biting his reddish lips with his teeth, Krishna, with false tears in his eyes, broke the container of yogurt with a piece of stone. Then he entered the room and began to eat the freshly churned butter in a solitary place. Purport. It is natural that when a child becomes angry, he can begin crying with false tears in his eyes. So, Krishna did this, and beating his reddish lips with his teeth, he broke the pot with a stone, entered the room, and began to eat the freshly churned butter. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastevute Shrimati Bhakti Yoga Meditation Namo Sapaktamani Manipuru Chash Bayacha Ekadashi Prachana Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastevute Shrimati Bhakti Meditation Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Prachani Nishisha Sunavadi Pasati Vastavam Medinatiram Dasya Gamedena Sharakela Saksusulintam Gilatasma Shigurabeni Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Lina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dagati Svapatantam Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopeka Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kachana Gaurangi Radhe Vrinda Vanishvari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamani Haripriye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gora Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yes, so he starts going on with Mother Yashoda, his pastimes with Lord Krishna, Damodar, and this is actually the sweetest part of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Practically speaking, yes, of course in the Srimad Bhagavatam, everything is nice. Nigama Kalpatarul Galitam Phalam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural fruit of Vedic literature. And the first 9th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which are quite already very long. It takes more than a year for devotees to study in the class, even more sometimes. But still, they're just an introduction to the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the sweetest part of the Bhagavatam. And the length of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam actually is equal in quantity to the previous 9th canto, and after all, including also 11 and 12 after that. So it's quite long. The 10th canto is very long, and this 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is divided, grossly speaking, in two parts: pastimes in Vrindavan and pastimes out of Vrindavan. And yes, early pastimes of the Lord and pastimes afterwards. And these early pastimes of the Lord are the sweetest. Of course, devotees in general are very eager to hear about the pastimes of the Lord, because this is a way to remember the Lord all the time. Still, at the same time, devotees are very much happy to relish the Vrindavan pastimes of the Lord, because they are the sweetest, in which we can see Lord Krishna appearing in a special ras with his devotees, that is to say, in the Vatsalya mood, Vatsalya ras mood. From the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in the introduction, in the beginning of introduction of Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada speaks about the ras. So it means that this is a very important topic in Krishna consciousness. But this topic can be understood only, we can say, by practicing devotees. So Srila Prabhupada introduces the rasas, as we said in Bhagavad Gita, and he says that there are 5 rasas: Shantaras, neutral relationship with the Lord; then Dasyaras, relationship of servitude; then there is Sakyaras, friendship; then there is Vatsalyaras, parenthood, affection; and then the top of it, Madhuryaras, which is love, conjugal love with the Lord. Actually, all these rasas, they have an aspect of Dasya ras included altogether, because the nature of the living entity in the material world. In the material world and in the spiritual world also, is to serve the Lord 24 hours a day, and every day of the week, and every day of the month, and every day of the year. So there is the aspect of Dasya. And this is also, it's not by chance that all the devotees, they are called Das or Dasi. We are all in the mood of servant, of service with the Lord. And actually, this Vatsalya ras, which is described in details in the first part of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, is a very special one. Very special one because in this ras, although strange it may seem, there is things that materialist people, they cannot understand. Even devotees, it's hard for understanding. It's hard for devotees to understand this. There is a kind of superiority. There is a mood of superiority of the devotee in relationship with the Lord. I read this last time in ISKCON Desire Tree text. It's very interesting to see. And this is something special. No one can understand this. That because the devotee in the Vatsalya ras, that is to say parenthood, affection, he has to display some attitude, to educate so-called child, Krishna, then of course he has to manifest a special attitude. The attitude of a parent trying to educate nicely his child. That is to say, and it includes many aspects. Of course, teaching the child how to walk, teaching the child how to speak, rebuking the child when he's doing some nonsense, calling the child with pet names, and so on and so forth. And of course, trying to be angry when the child is showing some naughty attitude. But of course, in this case, the Lord, the parent, will not take it very seriously. Sometimes the parent will call the child in front of him, before him, and say, "Oh, you're a naughty boy, naughty girl, don't do it again." Oh. But of course, he won't take it seriously. And this is very, very, very sweet relationship. It is said that in the rasas, Madhurya ras is the sweetest. Maybe, that may be. But still, in the Vatsalya ras, it's so sweet, so sweet. And practically speaking, the love of the mother towards the child is one of the, let's say, the purest, the purest that we can imagine. There is a special link between the mother and the child, which, as fathers, we cannot really understand. Because, of course, materially speaking, or practically speaking, we should say, the mother is giving birth to the child. She's the direct instrument of the will of the Lord through his material energy to give birth to the child. And therefore, there is a very, very special relationship between mother and child. And this attitude, this feeling, and this relationship is strongly shown by Mother Yashoda in relationship to dearmost Damodar. And here we have a perfect scenario, or a perfect play of the child, Damodar child, playing his part, and mother playing her part. So here is a story. The mother Yashoda is doing maid servant service in a house. And we see here, and her menial service is, that is to say, she is taking care of the household affairs, although she has many servants. And we know that in India, this is a custom from long time, that especially in rich families, there are many servants. Here we see nowadays, still this is a custom. There is a lady to help for this, another lady to help for that. And all the Grihasthas who live in Shuddhamayapur or in Vrindavan, they know this. But you see, Mother Yasoda, as a queen in Vrindavan, Dham, she obviously must have many maidservants. But for some reason, it is explained in the beginning of the chapter, the maidservants have some other occupation for their duties in the house, and therefore Mother Yashoda has to do herself some of the service. And we see that Mother Yasoda, as a pure devotee, will not show an aspect of superiority to her servants. Everyone is doing his service, and in this case, all the ladies are doing their service to Krishna, actually. The maidservants are serving Mother Yashoda, and in this way they are serving a pure devotee of Krishna, and they are serving in this way, and they are serving Krishna altogether. And as we said, Mother Yashoda doesn't show and doesn't display some attitude of superiority. And this is actually perfect Krishna consciousness. In the relationship of service to the Lord, no one is superior to another devotee. Every devotee is serving the Lord equally. And the spiritual master, of course, is in the topmost position as a pure devotee, and as a real sincere devotee of the Lord. He is, of course, in an elevated position, but still inside himself, he will feel that he is a servant of the Lord, and all the Vaishnavas who are under his control, we can say, or under his mentorship, they are still devotees, and therefore he's feeling he has a strong feeling of service towards all his disciples in Krishna family consciousness. And this is very, very nice. And I remember one devotee, I told the story once here already, but I can say again, of a devotee who was a good friend of mine. And he was serving in Radha Desh. I said he was because unfortunately he passed away 2 years ago, obviously. And he was a French devotee. But after a few years of service in Krishna consciousness, he went to Radha Desh and served as a temple devotee in Radha Desh. When he was actually in material occupations, he was a mathematics teacher in France. And in France he was called Bhakta Bernard. Bhakta Bernard. Bernard, yes. And then he was the dearmost disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Shahu Maharaj, initiated as Vishveshvar Prabhu. And Vishveshvar Prabhu was already old when he joined, but still he remained in active Krishna consciousness for more than 30 years, I believe. Yes, at least. And he was a kind of very simple devotee. And all during his life as a devotee, he remained the one who cleaned the temple every day. For 30 years, he did this service. Of course, from time to time he would go and distribute books, but this was not his main occupation. Of course, sometimes he would go to Harinam, of course he would listen to class and so on and so forth, of course. But still his main service during the day, in the daytime, every day he would clean nicely the temple. And if you tried to show him how to do, or if you tried to take the broom out of his hands, then he would be very upset. And he was such a nice devotee, a very, very kind heart. And to say a little story about Bhakti Yoga Prabhu, he's a very special devotee to France, because you see, till the end, the very end of his life, I believe, he remained giving donation every month to the temple, to Radha Parisisvara temple. He did this for many, many years, till I think his last breath. And also, our society here in Paris, APB, Association Parisienne de Bhakti Yoga, was created by some devotees in the house of Bhakta Bernard. At that time, the French theatre had collapsed altogether. There were no more devotees in Paris, only a few of them. And then a few devotees, they gathered in the little house in 20e arrondissement in Paris, and Rue Julien Lacroix, and they wrote the statutes, the memorandum of association from APB, or Present Society, which has been acting as ISKCON France for since 1986 or 87. Yes. So you see, the quality of a devotee is to show humility. And Mother Yashoda is quite a humble person, although she's a queen of Braj. Then she's taking care of her household affairs. And then, as the maidservants are not free, she's churning the butter herself. But still,
She's what?
churning the milk, churning the butter, in order to make ghee. Sorry. Yes, and then, as it was explained in the verses before, of course she has many duties, as most devotees in the temple or outside the temple. All devotees have so many duties. You have to do one this, one that, and you must have spoken in the previous classes that, of course, you have to give priorities to duties. All duties are actually important, but still, for practical reasons, you have to give some priorities to your duties, otherwise everything goes upside down, à l'envers. So, what is the first priority for mother is to give attention to child. And practically speaking, for a mother, the child is like a murti. you have to dress, you have to bath, you have to wake the deity in the morning. You have to bath, you have to dress, you have to give food, you have to do puja, yes, you have to do puja to the kid also, yes, all the day long, more or less.
It's a walking deity.
Huh? It's a walking deity, yes. And the child, of course, is not aware sometimes of all this, and sometimes the child is naughty, sometimes the child doesn't agree with the father or with the mother. It's not an easy task to deal with the matter, especially when they grow up. But still, it's a very sweet relationship, and the mother and the father is very happy to do the job, the service, so to say, but it takes time. So, now Mother Yashoda, she has to do two things altogether in the same moment, in the same time. She has to take care of the little one. She has to churn the butter, and there is also, for some reason, there is some milk. Afterwards, there is the milk which will be on the oven. But for the time being, she's giving milk with her breast to Krishna, and then she has to leave the place, and Krishna is not fully satisfied because he has not taken enough from the breast, and therefore is quite unhappy. And but mother, she has to run fast to take care of the milk, and then Krishna then shows some unhappiness, and then the first that he thinks that mother should take care of him more nicely, and as he is not satisfied with the milk he has already taken, then he decides that he will take some yogurt. You see, a child, very generally speaking, not generally, all the time, is very self-centered. Already when we grow up, we have to deal with our false ego. This is the natural enemy of the devotee. And the devotee in his spiritual life has to deal with the false ego. And this is not so easy, we know it. But for the child is not aware, he may not be aware, because of course the child has not received philosophy. But the child is very much on the ego. And if you refuse something to a child, very often, or most of the times, he will let's say, have a bad attitude, or he will react quite strongly. And this is how Krishna reacts. If we are not the direct parents of a child who is reacting strongly when he is dissatisfied, we may not be very happy. But if this is our child, because we are in a strong illusion of attachment, then we feel that the bad attitude of our child, if he is small, then we take it as a very sweet thing. And it is said in our scriptures that in Vatsalya ras, in parenthood ras, all you can find all the symptoms of ecstasy that you have in spiritual life. These symptoms of ecstasy have been described very nicely and displayed very nicely by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And let's recall together which are these 8 symptoms of ecstasy. And in Sanskrit it is called Asta Sattvika Vakar. So the first symptom of ecstasy is being stunned. We are like bewildered. And in Sanskrit it is called stamba. We are so disturbed that we are stunned. We don't understand what is the situation, and we cannot speak, we cannot move, practically speaking. Then there is another symptom of ecstasy, another ecstatic manifestation, which is perspiring. Your body is sweating, perspiring. You see, it is called in Sanskrit sveda. Yes. Then there is another one. When you have your hairs stand on end. And this is called in Sanskrit romancha. Yes. Then you may have faltering voice. You cannot even speak, or you speak with breath or whatever. And in Sanskrit, this is called svarabheda. Yes. Then you have trembling. Your body is trembling. Vipatu. Then you may have in your body a changing of color. You may become bluish, or you may have some other color, and this is called Vaivarna. Yes. Then you may have tears spreading from your eyes. Yes, Asru. And then there may be also devastation, Pralaya. Yes. This makes 8. All those make 8 altogether.
What is the last one? Devastation?
Yes, and there is the last one is devastation, Pralaya.
Devastation. So what it means?
That you are completely collapsed. Yes, you are completely collapsed. If your little one has disappeared from your sight, if you go in the supermarket and the little one is running between in the alleys of the supermarket, you are devastated. And the little one is also devastated if he doesn't see his mother or mom altogether. And so Mother Krishna, Mother Yashoda, she may feel devastated if she doesn't see a little Damodar nearby. Yes. And there is the last one, the very last symptom of ecstasy, which is only for Matajis. It is flowing of milk from the breast. And this is typical, of course, of Matajis, and this is the number 9 of ecstatic symptoms. Of all these symptoms of ecstasy, you can feel when you are in Vatsalya Ras, practically speaking. Yes, you are perspiring when you are, for instance, very anxious that your little one is in danger, and you, oh la la, maybe he has some operation, I don't know, in the hospital, and you are perspiring in case there is something wrong happening. Yes, you may be, of course, you have your hairs stand on end, of course, or in case also of extreme panic. Vipatu, you are trembling. Also, when you are also angry, you may be very angry, and therefore you are trembling. Your voice is trembling. Oh, don't do this again, huh? Changing of color. Yes. You see, imagine that your little one has spoken a naughty word to you, and out of anger, the color of your body is changing. All this. Tears. You are also afraid, or you are unhappy, or whatever, or feeling separation, and devastation, pralaya, when there are some catastrophes occurring in your family, and you are feeling completely devastated because you see that you cannot manage the situation, and when a devotee cannot manage the situation, what he has to do, just surrender to Krishna. But actually, this attitude of surrendering to Krishna, we should have all the time, practically speaking. The mood of the devotee is to be always surrendering unto Krishna. Yes, definitely we have to do our service or daily seva in the temple or in any place. Still, of course, we do our seva, but we have to understand this is actually Krishna who is controlling the situation, and Krishna who is giving the sanctions. And this is not easy to really understand. Personally speaking, for me, it was one of the hardest or most difficult point to understand in our philosophy. Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani saravasaha ankara vimudatma katan iti manyate. That is to say, out of feeling of false ego, one feels that he is a controller, he's acting, but actually all actions are made, are performed by the modes of material nature. Wow. So we think we are acting, but no, these are the modes are acting. But this is for let's say a materialist. But for a devotee, we understand that as a devotee, then the modes are under the control of someone. And this someone is Lord Krishna, Krishna himself. And someone who is in Maya, a materialist in Maya, is completely under the control of the modes, and he can do nothing. And is just following his nature, which has been given by his previous lives and previous karma, and so on and so forth. So he's just following the flow. And at the end of this lifetime, unless he has a special mercy of a Vaishnava and Krishna, he will remain in the samsara for so many lifetimes. But for the Vaishnava, he understands that he is in Maya, as he is not fully surrendering to Krishna. He understands that yes, he may be under the control of the modes, yes, but he understands also that although he has to act under the control of the modes of nature, still, if he acts in his capacity, with his possibility, and that his actions are actually sanctioned by the will of the spiritual master, with the blessing of the spiritual master, then he understands that actually he acts according to his nature, but for the supreme will, the will of the Lord. So, to come back to our point, we see here Mother Yashoda, who is really in the illusion of Vatsalya parenthood relationship, and she's so happy, and she's in the Hare Krishna. And she is actually completely in ecstasy. She's completely in ecstasy. She's running after a child. The child is putting the pot into pieces. But all this, she's in ecstasy. And for her, these pastimes should go on again and again and again. And actually, Krishna's pastimes in the Vrindavan realm, they are unlimited, and even as far as time is concerned, there is no time in the spiritual realm. And in the Rasa dance, for instance, actually took place during only one night. Yes, one night it is short, but here in this case, this was one night of Brahma. So you see, this we cannot calculate. Each time I try to calculate and I try to remember in the verse, I cannot really recall how many years it makes, because it's so long. You cannot imagine. For our material understanding, practical understanding, we cannot calculate. Shriya Kanta Kanta Paramapurusa Kalpataravo Dhruva Bhumi Chintamani Gamani Toyamamritam Kataha Gahanam Gamanam Apsivam Sipriya Shaki Chitananda Jyoti Param Tadhasvadyama Picha Sayatra Shirabi Surabi Vyacha Suman Imesada actuatiya pisamaya vajespe tadipam tamiyam golokamitiyam niradan sastantastiram vachikarim katipaye. Yes, which is, this is a description of the spiritual world, in which every word is a song, and every gate is every step is a dance, and there is not the manifestation of time. This is actually the conclusion of Sri Brahma Samhita, and in this prayer of Lord Brahma to Krishna in Brahma Samhita, right after this nice prayer, Lord Krishna explains to Brahma that actually to come back to the point of service, you have to follow sadhana bhakti. And with sadhana bhakti, then you can come to the platform of pure devotional service. So we practice Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means, if we take the two words, yoga, which means link to, link, and yoga means to have a link. Yes, and it comes to it exactly the same words as religion, which has a Latin origin, religare in French or in Latin, which means to be in relationship to. So this is yoga, and bhakti with love and devotion. Mother Yashoda, in the spiritual realm of Vrindavan, she has also, of course, spontaneous devotional attitude. Of course, she's pure devotee, and she's in Rupanuga Bhakti, definitely. And but here we are not in the Raganuga, not Rupanuga, Raganuga. She's in Raganuga Bhakti, which is actually also can be Rupanuga Bhakti, actually, because actually Rupa Goswami is in Raganuga Bhakti. But still we are in the Sadhana Bhakti. But this Sadhana Bhakti can lead us by Krishna's blessings and by the blessing of the spiritual master to pure devotional service, to eternal service to Krishna. And if we perform our service every day long, with the attitude of always trying to remember Krishna and never forget him, then definitely we are already in the spiritual realm. It's not by chance or by random that actually Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he concluded his Shikshastaka saying, Askilya vapada rila nastumam adashanam hatam karotuva yata tata vadiya dulam matranastu saivanaparaha. Krishna is my Lord, is my only Lord. I have no one else. And he can break me with his embrace, or break my heart because he's absent, but he will remain my Lord forever, and he's my Lord constantly. So we should follow in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Srila Prabhupada, of the Guru Acharyas, of the nice Vaishnavas. Always think of Krishna, serve him, and definitely we are already in the mood of Mother Yashoda in the spiritual realm. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sorry for my Sanskrit and for my bad English. Hare Krishna.
Another question, like
yes, Prabhuji.
You talked about 5 rasas.
Yes.
So is there any rasa superior or inferior one? How will we get to know our rasa?
Hare Krishna. Yes, actually, in the Nectar of Devotion, yes, there is which is a book by Rupa Goswami. Yes, it is said there is yes a scale of rasas. Generally, we learn that the first one, which is not supposed to be advanced, is a Shantaras, that is to say, neutral attitude. And generally, we take the example of the fruit of Krishna, which is serving by just touching the lips of Krishna. Yes, then supposedly there is the Dasyaras, And we take the example of, let's say, Daruka, who is a chariot driver for Lord Krishna. Then there is friendship, Sakyaras, and we can take the example of Arjuna, of course, Sakyaras. And then there is Vatsalyaras. And in Vatsalyaras, strangely enough, there is also Balaram. But Lord Balaram is in Vatsalyaras also because he's acting as
Guardian.
older brother, serving the little one. And yes, and of course he's in friendship. Actually, and the topmost is supposed to be Madhurya Ras. Yes, we learn that supposedly in our scriptures, in our understanding, Madhurya Ras, conjugal love with the Lord, is the top one. But frankly speaking, between Vatsalya and Madhurya, it's a question of degree. But it's very near in one sense, you see. And yes, I may not be qualified to understand this subject matter because definitely it's quite a very elevated one. But yes, in the scriptures it is said that Madhurya Ras is the top one. Frankly speaking, to come to this kind of discussions, you have to be a Goswami or Vrindavan. Then you may understand, you discuss about the Ras for a long time. Yes. But also, we can understand that the Ras we may have with Krishna are not, we can say, pure in one sense. That is to say, it is mixed. Because, yes, we just started talking today, explaining that there is some dasya in every ras anyway, and even there is some part in the Krishna book in which and the little children they are smiling and laughing when they hear this passage in which there is a kind of quarrel between the bamboos. Yes, the bamboos. They say to the bamboo who is taking the part of the flute of Krishna, the little bamboo, they say, oh my God, little bamboo, you're so lucky. You see, just see, you are touching Krishna's lips. So for us, it's a little far out. You see, a quarrel between bamboos or some jealousy between bamboos because there is one who is playing the part of Krishna's flute. It's little, yes, this is a discussion about rasas, but it's a little far out for us, and we may not fully understand all this. Did I answer your question properly? To the best of my understanding, little understanding. Hare Krishna. Other questions or comments? Yes? So, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Mazar Yashoda ki jai, Shri Radha Damodar ki jai, Hare Krishna. Allez, voilà. Getting older. This material.